Hello and welcome to the Common Colt Podcast, an Indianapolis Colts podcast made by Colts fans who just tell it how it is. I'm Josh Hudgens, joined by my co-host, Dan Hertzler. Dan, big day in Colts world as Frank Reich is fired and Jeff Saturday is hired. What is going on?
Unbelievable, man. I was feeling under the weather yesterday, mainly because watching that Colts team. But today it's sort of like, wow, all of a sudden I got the antidote and it's like Frank Reich's fired. And then the bombshell comes just a few minutes later about, Jeff Saturday being hired. I still can't even believe it. I mean, give me a word here, Josh. Give me a word about both these situations. What are you thinking?
Yeah, if you're a Common Colt fan, we usually have a one-word reaction. And my word, I guess how I'm reacting or how I'm feeling about the firing of Reich is I'm feeling incredible. I'm kind of feeling cocky maybe. Hey, just yesterday we released a podcast that said, hey, it's time to fire Frank Reich. And maybe that was a layup because I think everybody was saying it. But hey, we were right. We hit the nail on the head and we're feeling good. What about you?
I'm shocked, almost like numb is kind of the word that I'm kind of thinking about, because as much as we sit here as fans on this side of the gameplay and the behind the closed doors and all that stuff, we don't see any of that stuff. We don't know any of that stuff, but we're seeing the product on the field and we're just like, hey, something's got to change. But rarely does this happen. I know it happened in Carolina this year, but overall in the entire NFL, it's happening very, very rarely. And it happened today. I mean, Frank is gone. And so now, we've got some like new energy, new hope, not really for this season as much, but for the future going forward. And I'm just kind of numb to it. And then you throw on Jeff Saturday news and it's like I go from numb to like just coma. Like I don't even know what to say. I don't even have the words to say because this is just such a out of the left field kind of move. This is just mind boggling to me. I'm going to need some time to process this because I'm completely numb and I'm in a coma because of this whole thing. Yeah,
I'm going to use a 4-syllable word for the Jeff Saturday hire. So buckle up for that one because I think it deserves a big word, and that's flabbergasted. Yep. Flabbergasted. Yep. Now, I don't know if that's 4 syllables or not. Nobody checked that, but I mean, Irsay, this is totally an Irsay move. I don't think Chris Ballard said. I don't think this was a Ballard call at all. I think this is a Jim Irsay call. Very visionary move. And hiring a guy who has no college or NFL experience, I'm flabbergasted. I mean, this is unheard of. This is almost as big of a news day for the Colts as when Andrew Luck retired. I mean, this is a big deal.
Yeah, the presser's coming out, I believe, in the next few minutes here by the time this gets released. So we'll hear a little bit more with that. I'm really curious about the reporters, what kind of questions they're going to ask, whether or not they're going to throw up those softball questions. They're really going to dig deep. I mean, there's two really, really huge questions here. Is one, you've got the whole question about his experience. To my understanding, to what I've looked around a little bit, I've never seen a coach hired with 0 head coach or play calling coach, assistant coach duties in the NFL or the college. I mean, this guy was last coaching high school, and I think he was like 3-7. So he wasn't even successful as a high school coach. Now you said he was a consultant for the Colts. So maybe has a little insight into what's going on there. Then the other thing with everything going on with Brian Flores and the lawsuit with minority coaches, and I don't know what the Rooney Rule is according to in-season hires like this, but it just seems like a snap finger, quick decision, no process. A lot of these coaches that haven't had the right opportunities, the right looks, aren't even getting a look. So those are two just kind of big questions that we don't even have answers for right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back a little bit. This does seem like a Irsay snap decision, but I think that when you hire somebody like Jeff Saturday, and if you're an owner of a football team, he's probably been sitting on this for a little while here, and he's probably been waiting for the right time. I think he's had this gun in his holster, and he's just ready to pull it out and pull the trigger. And he's been waiting and waiting and waiting. And they played against the Commanders, and they kept it close. And now they go to New England, and they get trounced. So this was Irsay's. This was the moment he wanted to make. I don't know why, and I think now we're going to talk about it now. I mean, why do you think it was Jeff Saturday?
Well, real quick, though, I'm going to push back on your pushback because he's never done this before. 25 years as the owner, he's never fired a coach in season. I think it has to do a little bit more with the two losses that really grinded him. The Tennessee Titans loss, and then he benched Matt Ryan. He hates losing the Titans, and then now he just got flat out embarrassed by the Patriots. And I think this is a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think this was anything he had kind of sitting there and waiting. So, but to me, like, is this a bigger play? This is going to be now the question going forward. This is what Colts fans, man, we got to be talking about this. We got to put on our little tin foil hats here and say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? I know you got a theory. I think you got a theory of what's going on.
Buckle up, Colts fans, because here's the deal. We have two former head coaches on this roster. If you want to just have a guy that can get you through the season and kind of prep you for next year, you got Gus Bradley and John Fox on the coaching staff who know the players. They're in and day out. Not a whole lot's probably going to change, really, by bringing in really anybody this season. Not a whole lot's going to change. But those guys, at least, they can keep the ship moving. But with Jeff Saturday, who hasn't coached in the NFL or the Colts, he's just a consultant for the Colts. One thing he does have is connections. And the Colts currently have Reggie Wayne on the coaching staff and now Jeff Saturday. Irsay's a big music guy. I think the Colts are trying to get the band back together. Saturday as coach, Manning in the front office, Peyton Manning in the front office, and Reggie Wayne maybe helping out the offense, maybe offense coordinator. I don't know. Tinfoil hat theory. What do you think?
Oh, what do you got? Freeney as the defensive coordinator?
Maybe defensive line coach. I mean, we'll cut it deep, man. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can't call it crazy. I mean, look what just happened.
No, that's the best part about all this. We can come up with every theory possible, and it's not nearly as crazy as what's happening in real life. I think that's a good one. I like that one a lot. I think it's just their version of what they want to do that they did. I think 2011, if my memory serves me right, when they basically sucked for luck. I think they're tanking. I think this is just, okay, what can we do? The best thing we can do to tank, but not make it obvious. Let's bring in a guy that has no experience. Let's just throw him into the fire in the middle of the season. And hey, if we somehow hit the Powerball, all of a sudden, $1.5 billion, I think that's up to whatever. Now, all of a sudden, and Jeff Saturday's a genius. He's an amazing coach. He pulls the offensive line together. He gets everything organized. He gets everything moving, and they start playing well. Man, you just got the next great coach. Great, move forward. But most likely, this just means they're gonna suck for the rest of the year. I don't know another word to say it. They're gonna be bad. They're gonna lose, and then they can start clean. I think. Other positions are going to be up for grabs. I think everywhere. I think trades, some of your veterans might be on the line. I think you might be looking for a total rebuild for the Colts, and this is just the first domino that's going to start with it.
Yeah, I think the Saturday move does do two things. Obviously, Irsay, you can say what you want about him, and I'm high on Jim Irsay as an owner.
You're a stan. Just admit it.
I am, and a lot of people in the media give Jim Irsay a hard time because of his past. But one thing Jim Irsay does know is football. His dad was the owner of the Colts, and he's been around football for so long. So obviously with Jeff Saturday being in his ear as a consultant, I think that Saturday's done enough to earn some of Irsay's respect. So I think he's like, all right, like you said, now this might go bad. And worst case, we have a high pick and we can get ourselves a quarterback finally. Or best case, maybe this guy who's been in my ear is a good coach, a good coach. Yeah. And maybe, just maybe, he's trying to coax old number 18, get him back in Indianapolis and get the band back together. I'm saying
we've heard rumors and stories all the time about how smart Jeff Saturday was. And that, an offensive lineman, you look at, some of the great coaches throughout the history, some of them have been offensive linemen. They understand the game. They understand the scheming. They understand what has to happen. What does this Colts team need? It needs offensive line help bad.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something there. I just think the rest of the season, expectations for the Colts, I think here's what you need to do. You need to look at anybody that is 3 years or younger in the league and just focus in on those guys. See how good they're playing. Anyone that's old, that's a veteran, they might be gone. Their time might be history here. lock in on these young receivers, lock in some of the young secondary, lock in on Sam Ehlinger. Let's see what he can do. Maybe the Colts don't need a quarterback. I'm not one to believe that to be true, but maybe Sam's good and all of a sudden can start playing with a decent offensive line. So we just focus in on the young guys, cheer them on. But I think Colts fans, we're gonna kind of want them to lose, as bad as that sounds, just because this team needs a rebuild.
Yeah, and the best way to do that is get a good draft pick. And yeah, I'm right there with you. The expectations for this season, I mean, they were high to start the season, and they've dropped, and they can't get any lower.
Did you see what Saturday posted? I think just like a week ago about the Raiders.
No, I didn't.
He posted something about how bad they were. Like, man, that's an awful team out there. And then that's his first game coming up here, right? Is Sunday against the Raiders. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He tweeted something out like, "Man, the Raiders, they're awful." And now we'll see what happens on Sunday. Well, this is going to be a wild ride, man. I'm excited for what this.
I'm excited. Hey, at the very least, it's something to talk about, Colts fans. And maybe my tinfoil hat theory is wrong, but just remember, if you guys see Peyton Manning in the front office next season, remember the Common Colt Podcast brought it to you first. And if you guys want to hear maybe a little more realistic takes in the future, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys think about this Jeff Saturday signing, Frank Reich firing. It's wild. It's mayhem in Indianapolis right now, and I'm all here for it. That's Dan Hertzler. I'm Josh Hudgens, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great week. And I hate to say it, but go Colts.